All right, hello. Welcome to episode 1 of the Red Shed Ramblings podcast. Just a quick housekeeping tip here before we get started. The purpose of this podcast, in the spirit of keeping things simple, is to share information that's going to be helpful for all of us. Each week we're going to have a different guest and have a different topic, and hopefully we can share some information that each of us didn't know and could help us later on in life or in work or whatever. There's no agenda. And the cool thing is the topics, guests, questions all come from you. So be sure to click on our email link in our description and send us any suggestions you got for future guests. And again, no agenda. So it's everything from careers, community. We might have a deputy sheriff in here. We might have a realtor in here. We might have a doctor. Who knows? We might have a drag racer. So again, no agenda, very laid back, very wide open conversation. So, with that out of the way, we got Jeff Renker, Mako Inspections. Mako Inspections based in Pasco County. Jeff pretty much services anywhere you need him to go, but I'll say Central Florida to keep him from driving too far. He's a proud husband, father, very active in the community. Jeff and I have known each other for just about 15 years. Welcome, Jeff, and how you doing?
Thank you. Doing good. Glad to be here on episode 1 of the Red Shed.
Yep. Nobody else can ever say that. Nobody can do episode 1. Jeff's got it. That tells you what I think about you. Again, thank you for taking time out to spend with us today. Let's jump right in and start off with why did you become a home inspector?
I became a home inspector because ultimately, numerous people had said to me, about being a home inspector, but ultimately I got sick of mowing lawns.
So you're doing landscape?
I was doing landscape now. I owned my own lawn company for 4
Hot
years.
in Florida.
Very hot in Florida. And I have known enough about the, building, general contractors and stuff like that, that it only made sense to get into it. Took my classes on InterNACHI online, and 3 months after 3 months after I started my classes, I was able to sit for the state test in Florida, passed that on the first try, and here we are.
You kind of jumped on to my next question about how long did it took. So you talked about taking classes. Did you do that real time? Did you do that self-study? How'd you do that?
So I did it online. I did online classes. At first, I was doing, maybe a class per week, and as the summer got hotter, as the market got hotter,
The grass got taller.
I started taking, almost a course a day. Total, it was 120 hours of courses that I had to take and everything. And, everything from AC to roofing to framework to plumbing, electrical, everything, And the courses, they're designed, you take the first one and then you move on to the secondary one and everything. So it wasn't hard or anything for someone who has a general knowledge of it. But it was, like I said, as the summer got hotter, as the real estate market got hotter, as you started selling more houses, it kind of motivated me to work faster and get it done. I ultimately wanted to take 6 months to do it, and did it in 3 months because I was like, yeah, I'm done with this heat.
I think that's key. Is I talk to a lot of people that drag it out, and I think it makes it harder when you drag it out long. But to knock it out, same thing with realtor classes. Knock it out in 3 months and you're done.
Yeah.
And it stays fresh in the mind. Which brings me to my next question. And I know there's going to be stuff you miss. What kind of cost is involved? If somebody wanted to be a home inspector today, to get them from, hey, I want to be an inspector, to, hey, I got my license and I'm ready to go to work, tell us some of the costs that you see and what they are.
So to take courses from InterNACHI, you have to be a member. To be a member is $49 a month. And that covers all your costs for all your classes. So, I took them in 3 months, so it's $150 accrued, over the 3 months for that. Then you have to sit for the state test. I think the state test was $175. And if you don't pass it, then it's another $100 to take it again, I do believe. I don't know.
Did you pass it the first time?
Passed the first time.
Woo!
The next thing is to apply for your state license. you have to show proof of having $300,000 of insurance coverage. So you have to get insurance before that, which my current insurance is $194 a month.
Wow.
And
I had no idea that cost that much.
That's $1 million coverage plus $1 million errors and omission coverage.
Where do you go get an insurance? I mean, do you go to like a normal insurance place like where you get homeowners, or is it special?
So you could. Originally, I started with an insurance company that kind of does any business, but they weren't really good with home inspector stuff. I'm not going to throw their name out there because their customer service was the reason I left. I tried for weeks trying to get a hold of them, and it was always here, leave a message for this person, or here, press this button. No. So currently I have coverage from a company called Inspector Protect that mainly deals with home inspectors.
Like a commercial type.
So if there's going to be, if you miss something big and someone wants to sue you, they've already got people, lawyers and stuff like that, investigators that are already looking into it before it even gets to the courts, so they can take care of it before it even gets to that point.
Okay, so now we've completed our training, we've spent money, we've got insured, everything else. Now we're an inspector ready to go to work. What can you do? Is there any other like special certifications or anything that you can get to maybe stand out from a basic home inspector? I mean, in real estate, you see people with all these letters after their name for different certifications they got. It's the same thing true with inspectors.
So inspectors can get more certifications in the state of Florida to get like your wood destroying organisms, your WDO certification. You have to go through with a pest control company. If you were to get mold certified, you have to have your MRSA certification, which I haven't looked into a lot because I've been told that you have to be with certain companies in order to get that stuff. To me, it wasn't worth it to start another company, or, if you do the WDO stuff, you have to be working for a pest control company.
Yeah, okay.
So it's easier for me to say, hey, I use this guy, he charges this much, and you can get the WDO inspection, or the common terminology is the termite inspection, done by him, instead of having to worry about me and my certifications for that and everything like that. I can just go in and handle the home inspection. They do offer classes on Internashi on the wood destroying organisms, which I have started to take. Okay. Sometimes I get bored.
I would think that would be.
It's one of those things I want to take. And that way, if I see signs of stuff, I can say, hey, I recommend getting a termite inspection.
I wonder if that impacts your insurance cost at all. If you take on you talked about MRSA and WDO, if that impacts that at all. If you're pointing that stuff out and you're certified to be able to inspect for that stuff, I wonder if it impacts your insurance or any cost. I mean, I don't know.
You might have to get a different insurance. I don't know, because then you're opening up a whole different scope. Because home inspectors have a scope of operations that they work under, and that would, to me, that sounds like it would be something that is outside the general scope, and you would have to get more insurance for that. Or
I will tell you, not to get off track here for a minute, but I had an inspector who I'll let remain nameless that I used prior to you, because I used Jeff, not exclusively. We've about 20 people on the list. I've got 2 that I trust. Jeff I trust the most, and I will tell you that Jeff gets 99.9% of my business. If the homeowner or the buyer says, hey, I don't have anybody, who do you recommend? I will always provide them with multiple inspectors to use. Though if they ask me who I prefer, I will always say that I prefer Jeff. Jeff has done inspections for my family recently, so obviously I think enough of him and his professional, and I know he'll tell me stuff that I may not want to hear that may knock me out of a deal. I may lose $7,000 because Jeff found a problem in the house, but he has enough integrity to where he'll tell me, and with the buyer, I'll tell the buyer we need to take a pass on the house based on Jeff's inspection.
Well, remember, unfortunately, I don't work for you.
Yep.
I work for the buyer. So I'm looking to make sure that they're buying a house that is going to be good for them. That's going to be suitable for them, even in 5-10 years.
Yeah.
So
and again, just to say that one more time, it's the buyer who handles deciding who they want for an inspector. They can ask me all day long who I recommend, but ultimately they're the one that's going to sign the contract. They're going to make contact with Jeff, or he's going to make contact with them, and with payment and everything else. I'm a transactional agent in Florida, and I wouldn't stick myself out and tell everybody, oh, you have to use Jeff. Only if they ask, and 99% of the time they ask me who I recommend, it'll be Jeff, until such a time that he does a bad job or we have an issue. Yeah, kills too many deals. No, I'm joking. But ultimately, it's the homeowner's decision or the buyer's decision. Okay, as with me being a realtor, there's continuing education.
Yep.
That I have to do, follow-on training per se. Is there anything for an inspector?
Yep. The state of Florida, I'm required to take a certain amount of hours per year. Internachi also requires me to take a certain amount of hours per year. So they do transfer to each other. Once I take a course on Internachi, they actually transfer it to the state of Florida, so the state of Florida knows I took it. Wind mitigation is one of the things. I have to take that every 2 or 3 years, because they do change slightly some stuff on those. So I have to take that course every 2 to 3 years, and once I take it with Internachi online, it does just transfer over to the state of Florida.
And just to remind me, you may have said it. Tell me what Internachi is again.
Internachi is the International Association of Certified Home Inspectors.
Perfect. Okay. You probably said that, and I probably missed it.
No, I didn't say it.
Now that we've covered most of this stuff involved with becoming a home inspector, you as an owner of a home inspection business, any other expenses? We talked about insurance. We talked about licensing, what it costs. Oh, he's looking at his ad. Any other costs associated with owning a home inspection business? I mean, I wrote down some notes like, if you're doing any website or advertising, your vehicle, tools, MLS fees, or insurance. Can you talk about that a little bit, the extra fees?
So, yeah, so there are extra fees. I do have a website, www.makoinspections.com.
That's a plug in case you missed it.
That, I operate that through GoDaddy. I had a buddy of mine, Alan, who actually went through and revamped it for me and everything. I also joined a realtor association, West Pasco Board of Realtors.
Sorry.
That was an extra cost. When I joined them, I was able to apply with Supra to get Supra key access, which gets me the into the electronic lock devices that most of the houses use. So I have access to that. The only issue with that was that I only had access to like Pasco, Hernando, and maybe Pinellas. So I had to join Lakeland's Realtor Association, which gave me more of a thing, because they don't apparently a lot of these realtor associations don't allow home inspectors to join and give them access. You have to pay and join.
Yeah.
They let realtors or appraisers, but not home inspectors.
Yeah, I don't understand that. That we talked about that before.
So there's that. So I pay a monthly fee for Supra. I pay a monthly fee for my website. The realtor associations were once a year. Then I had to buy new tools. I had to buy some new tools. Most of them I had, but you need to
any
get
specialty tools.
Specialty tools. I have a moisture meter I use. If I see anything that looks like it could be possibly wet, I do have I'll call it a glorified stud finder. It's a tool that I use for my wind mitigations when I'm looking for where the nails are coming through the plywood into the trusses. It'll tell me where the nails are. Other than that, I mean, I have like an electric meter that tells me whether the screws on the electrical panels are energized or not. Last thing I need is to try to take one of those off without hitting it with my energizer and and get blown back in a garage, 15, 20 feet, because most of these garages are full of stuff. So
That'd be some good information to have.
yeah. So whenever that thing goes, I'm like, nope, not doing it.
So let me ask you this. I'm going to be blunt. If you woke up every morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, and you hustled and busted your butt and did everything possible you could to drive your business, I'm not asking you what you make, what you think your business would make, but a general idea, ballpark figure, somebody that was hustling, taking every job they could get, going to every realtor, every brokerage, and every insurance company trying to drive their business. Is there a limit? Where do you think they could be?
The limit is what they want to do in a day. I know I have some friends I've made in the home inspector industry, and some of them are doing 3 full inspections a day sometimes.
Typical inspection cost?
Well, they're doing them for cheap.
Okay.
So that's the thing, is they're having to hustle and do 3 a day because they're doing them at a cheaper cost. They're doing a home inspection with the insurance inspections for like $350, $400. Whereas my home inspection starts at $350, throw in another $150 for the insurance inspections. You got to understand, and a lot of people don't, they like well, that's $500, and all you're doing this report and everything, but that covers, my gas, my travel time, my fees for all the realtor groups I'm in, the Internachi fees, what I've spent on tools, what I've spent on marketing. I got to make that up somewhere. So,
my opinion, it doesn't matter what job or what career. There's always somebody that's going to be doing stuff that's short selling themselves financially. For what I know that's involved with the home inspection, I think your inspections are priced right. Why people do that, and again, that's not just limited to home inspectors. There's a ton of people that don't do themselves any favors by doing stuff too cheap, to where if you're not profitable and you can't pay your bills, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's kind of.
Well, I had someone hit me up and wanted a wind mitigation, or not a wind mitigation, a 4-point done, and they told me they could find it cheaper somewhere else, and I told them, no hard feelings, but go get that cheaper price then.
We see the same thing in real estate. There's people that will want you to list their house, and I will tell you that if you want me to list your house, and we haven't done business before, and I work for a full service brokerage, we're giving you everything. It's a 6% commission. Now that 6% commission on that house, because the brokerage I work with, we don't charge silly fees, MLS fees and stuff like some of the people out there do, and you know who you are. We split our commissions right down the middle. Even though I'll pay $250, $300 out of my pocket to have professional photography done to the house, and it's second to none. 3D, it just aerial, everything's done. We do everything top notch, and it's a full service brokerage. So we're not going to short sell ourselves and list a house for 3%. It just doesn't make sense.
And that's when you sell a house?
That's when we sell a house.
Do you have it inspected before you sell it?
Well, I don't jump ahead there, but yeah, that's a topic that is fresh on my mind now. Is we get inspections on all the houses that I have buyers that are buying, and we talked about it Wednesday in a mastermind meeting. Is we need to be telling every single house that we list, you may want to consider getting a home inspection. That way you're out ahead of any issues. You've got an idea of what the buyer's home inspection is going to tell you. You can do it. You can do the inspection. Go ahead and have it. You could even go ahead and have a wind mitigation inspection and 4-point. Spend the $500. Have it all ready. Make that available for the buyer as to entice them. Say, hey, well, you can buy this house, and we got the inspections done by an independent inspector already. Here they are. No cost to you. We'll include it in the price of the house. Some people would look at that and go, well, I'm going to have my own. But that's still, the seller has an advantage because he's got an idea that if they're going to find anything that needs to be addressed, that he may get hit with in a seller's or buyer's addendum for repairs. Yeah. So I'm going to, from this point forward, every time I list a house, I'm going to remind him, hey, let's get a home inspection. That way you can be ahead of it.
Well, it makes it a lot easier too, because if home inspector is always going to find something.
Yeah.
There's always going to be something the home inspector finds. So it gives the homeowner a chance to fix that and be like, hey, here's the report that they marked this down as a deficiency. Here's what I did for this. And it makes the buyer say, okay, so the home inspector wasn't a friend of this person. They came out and did a legit inspection.
Yeah.
Obviously, there was stuff they found wrong with the home, so they can feel a little bit more confident about having that report, even though it is from the seller and the seller's agent.
Yeah.
It's still a legit report. Yeah, an independent report, because ultimately the home inspector should be going out there for the potential buyer, not for, say, the seller or for the seller agent. They should be out there doing what they need to do for the buyer.
All right. So you give me a perfect segue here. Why would I want to have a home inspection done? Now, you can't see it on camera, but I gave him a cheat sheet in case he forgot anything. But anyway, go ahead.
I'm not even looking at that. My feet are blocking that. I don't want your answers.
So why would I hire a home inspector?
So the biggest deal to fire a home inspector is so that you don't get, and this might say, so you don't get bit in the end.
Yeah.
You don't need to be moving into a house and find out there's more issues with this house than you knew about. I did an inspection earlier today. I looked underneath the house because there's probably about 6 inches, and there's galvanized pipe underneath,
Yes.
which ultimately galvanized piping will rust out and leak.
How old was the house?
The house was originally built in 1959, was remodeled in 1986.
Partially remodeled.
Partially remodeled, yes, partially remodeled. Up in the attic, you can see the original siding that was painted teal and everything. So that was the other thing. They put the house is a wood stick house, and they put stucco on the outside. So there's cracks all over the place from where the stucco is dried, and but ultimately you want to get a home inspection so that you know what you're getting yourself into.
Peace of mind.
You want to know, okay, there's a lot of homeowners don't like going up in the attic. I go in the attic and can tell them, hey, when you move in, you might want to put some more insulation in there. The original insulation from 1983 isn't good enough right now. You might want to put 9 to 12 more inches in there. Or tell them, hey, your water heater is from 1995. You might want to put some money aside for when it does break.
Yeah.
You can replace it. Or your AC unit, yeah, it's blowing cold. It's got 11 degrees difference between the return air and the supply air, but your outside unit's from 1997.
Yeah, so you would do future repair cost.
Yeah,
Okay.
so they can get that, or they can even come to they can even find something and be like, okay, listen, your AC is 18 years old. I know I'm going to have to replace that. You said you're taking your appliances. How about you leave your appliances for me, so to offset the cost of what the AC is going to cost, But that's a deal that the realtors do, but that's also something that me as an inspector, I go out there and find out the age of all the stuff. A lot of the stuff's on the end of it's at life expectancy. Yeah, you might get another 10, 15 years out of it. That's not normal, but you might get that. I'm not telling you to replace it now, but you're going to have to replace it down the road.
Okay, makes sense. So I'm gonna go over my list, and he's covered all of them. We've talked about them all so far. Peace of mind for somebody buying a house, or they've just bought a house, or they've inherited a house, however they've acquired this house, or if they've had it a while and they just want peace of mind. Peace of mind is definitely a reason. Seller repair addendum items during a home purchase. So that's when somebody's working with me or any other realtor and buying a home. They have an inspection period, so they would contact Jeff or another inspection company. They come out and do an inspection, let them know what's wrong, and it's usually not cosmetic things that make it on the repair addendum. It's usually safety things, things that will affect the use of the property that you'll put on there and request the seller repair before you go forward with the deal. We talked earlier, he does a basic home inspection, but here in Florida, it's mandatory that we have a 4-point inspection and a wind mitigation inspection done at the same time. It's mandatory for you to bind a new homeowner's insurance policy. That may not be the case in your state, but another thing, and other states out there, it'll get you a discount on your homeowners. Just about to the letter to all the states. If you take a look, if you have a home inspection done, a detailed home inspection, you'll see an insurance on your homeowners. And if you don't, if you haven't had one lately, call your local inspector and call your insurance company too and tell them you had the inspection done. And you may see a 15-20% premium reduction, at least for the next year after that inspection. Here's a time where I have now incorporated it into my CRM to remind me when I sell a new construction home. Now, people already are going, why would you have a home inspection done on new construction? I don't want to have a home inspection done at the beginning, but at the 11th month that homeowner has been in that house, 11 months since the day they closed, my system will flag and send me a reminder to call Joe and Susie Smith and say, hey, you've been in your home 11 months. Your floor to ceiling home warranty expires in 30 days. I think you should call Jeff or whatever home inspector and have them come out and do an inspection. That way, if he sees any problems, you still have time under warranty to get it addressed, and it won't cost you out of pocket. So I've never done that before. I just added it into my CRM calendar for new construction buys to help remind me and to help people save some money and use that warranty instead of their pocketbook.
You should probably have them do that at 9 months, just because of the way the builders are. Yep. A lot of them won't get back to you within 30 days.
Well, yeah.
So if you do it a little sooner, then at least then you have that time, and you say, hey, I've done this.
Good point.
I did a home inspection in Winter Haven, and the lady next door had it was a brand new house, and her inspection or her warranty ends up in December. She wants me to come out in August and kind of look at it and do a home inspection and see what repairs need to be made.
Perfect. I agree. All right. Walk us through how you get customers. How does Mako Inspection get customers? And kind of walk us through the step-by-step process from them either reaching out to you or you reaching out to them.
So 90% of my customers come from realtors that I've used before. The other 10% come from word of mouth. Someone on Facebook asking, in their Facebook groups, hey, I need a home inspector, or mortgage lenders. They'll recommend too. When someone like that, if a mortgage lender or someone on Facebook, 9 times out of 10, it's them reaching out to me. Now on Facebook, if someone recommends me, I'm gonna hit them up with a message. Hey, my name's Jeff Renker. Let them know who I am, what company I'm with, and once I send that message, then I send them my business card, because my business card has everything on it: my phone number, my email, my website, my state license, and everything. So that way they can look and say, okay, he's legit. Most of the time when realtors will send me the client's name and number, and I will call the client and be like, hey, my name's Jeff Renker. I'm with Mako Inspections. I was given your name and number by your realtor. Do you have any questions about the inspection or the inspection process? And it's 50-50 whether they have a lot of questions or whether they're like, no, we just want to get it done, and you were recommended, you came highly recommended, so we'd like you to do it. And I get their information, put it in my software, and we're good to go.
Okay. Do they have to see you to pay for it or anything? How's that work?
Goes all through the software. So once I put their name, their address, all through my software, which is Spectora, they get an email, and in the email it has a welcome letter from me, and then it has a link for them to pay, and then it has a link for them to go on and sign an agreement / contract that basically tells them what I do and don't do. That I don't open up walls. I'm not inspecting for mold. If I see something that looks like it could be organic growth, I will call it as such. I will not use that 4-letter word.
Trust me, I know. He'd send it to me.
It is a dirty word. But everything's done through there, so I don't even have to. Sometimes a lot of these buyers are out of state, so I don't even meet the buyers or anything like that. So a lot of it's done transactional through the internet, and we're good to go.
All right. So, who attends the inspections? When you show up for a house to inspect, who's there?
I've had everything from no one there and I'm on my own to homeowners being there, the buyers and the homeowners there, buyers, homeowners, the buyer's agent, the seller's agent. To me, it really doesn't matter. I like it if the buyer's going to be there, that the buyer's agent's there, just so that the buyer's not asking me questions about the roof when I'm in the kitchen, checking stuff. I'll answer any question.
Yeah.
But while I'm going through the kitchen, don't be asking me, hey, the roof. And if I've been on the roof, then I can answer the question. But if I haven't even been on the roof,
Kind of hindering your
yeah. So you like the agent to be there as a buffer. A lot of times when the homeowner's there, you'd want one of the agents there to kind of be a buffer. Not that I mind people. I've had people walk around the whole time with me, right over my shoulder, watching me do the whole inspection. I've literally asked a homeowner, would you like to just unscrew this? And they said, no. I'm like, okay, well, back up a little foot.
Get in your lane.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that Jeff is, I don't want to leave out other inspectors, but Jeff has allowed me to look over his shoulder quite a bit. I know what he looks for, and to be honest with you, it's helped me a little bit as an agent to kind of look while we're doing the showing on the house before Jeff even gets involved. And I go, well, damn, I don't have all the screws in the service panel, or I'll open up the service panel and I can already see double tap in there because the blanks are missing. I know that all realtors don't attend inspections, but I can tell you that I would recommend you can't be a good agent and not attending your inspections, because I want to be able to sleep at night knowing that my buyer's got a quality house and it's not going to burn down, or it's not ate up with termites, whatever the case may be. Okay, hypothetical, we do an inspection this morning at 10 o'clock, and I'm assuming you're doing stuff, you're taking pictures and all that stuff. When will the person who purchased the inspection receive the inspection reports?
So
typically,
I usually tell my clients anywhere from 24 to 36 hours.
24 to 36
and that gives me time, because if I did it this morning, that's not saying that I don't have another one this afternoon.
Correct.
And then sometimes I need to get with the city it was done in to get the permits and everything like this. Sometimes the clock's not running, so I don't have to worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
But other times I want to make sure I get all the information before I give it to them. But 36 hours, you're going to have it within 36 hours.
I will say this. I asked that intentionally, kind of mean-spirited, because there are inspectors out there that you'll have an inspection done Friday morning and you won't see that. You have to be Tuesday and you still don't have reports back. I will say this. I'll give credit where credit's due. I've had Jeff do an inspection before at 9 o'clock in the morning, an hour and a half north of here, or an hour north of here, and by the time I got back home, the inspection reports were waiting on me. Now that's not normal. I don't want to say he's going to do that every time, but that's one of the things I like about Jeff is the quick turnaround on inspection reports. And why is that important? If I'm writing with my buyers, writing a 3-day inspection or a 5-day inspection period, if the inspector takes 4 days to get me the report, that doesn't leave me long to review that report with the buyer and us to come up with a repair addendum and get it in. So if I'm working on a short inspection period, I'll call Jeff. Help me out. The buyer, we've got a 3-day inspection. How quick can you get on this? And he works with all the realtors like that, so that's good. So we do the inspection, we find some things wrong, and are there re-inspections?
So the only time I do come out for a re-inspection, 9 times out of 10, the only time you need a re-inspection is for the 4-point. You really don't need a re-inspection for your home inspection. My report is what you need for that. But for in the case of double taps and everything, if you don't have an electrician that can take the picture or anything like that, then yeah, I have to come out and re-inspect the portions of the 4-point or whatever that weren't addressed.
Good point.
Or that were fixed. So that way, yeah.
All right. if you have a beverage, take a drink, because now we're getting to the fun questions that we're going to ask Jeff. My favorite part of what we're talking about. Tell us, what's some of the worst things you've seen while doing an inspection? I've seen some of them.
I was in an attic at a duplex and saw a 8-foot snakeskin that was probably as thick as a Red Bull can.
Oh,
Yeah. That,
wow.
yep, got out of that. I did an inspection in Orlando and had floors that were bubbling, a wall that was bubbling out, but the listing said there was no water damage. It was all water damage. I did an inspection in Clearwater. You walked in, I almost got carried out by what appeared to be German cockroaches. Yeah, I've
How did he know they were German?
I-
They're all
I
like
don't know.
Abitazane or whatever.
they were wearing green.
Nice. Anyway, all right. Before we get off track here, tell me something that homeowners do that drive you crazy during inspection. And I think you kind of already did, saying they hover. Anything else that stands out that a homeowner would do?
Sometimes the homeowner will actually tell you things that they fixed, and you look at it and it's not fixed right. They will tell you, oh, we had a leak under the sink and I fixed it, and the piping that they've used is the corrugated stuff that actually traps bacteria in organic growth in it, and you can see it by putting your flashlight behind it, and they're proud of their work, but it's not going to work because now it's just harboring more stuff.
All right. Tell me something that a realtor's done on an inspection that that drives you crazy.
I've had a realtor show up 30 minutes late, and they were the only one that had the code to get in. And I'm
looking at
sitting,
me?
and I'm sitting there with their client at a locked house, and couldn't get a hold of them, and they showed up 30 minutes late.
Lovely.
When they told me they'd be there, and they even set the time for the inspection.
All right. That would irritate me. All right. Quick question here. Now I want you to, I've got it because he'll jump on him real quick. Let me just say it like this. Imagine they're 50 or 30 states away, and they're not going to be a competitor of yours. What advice would you give to somebody on how to get started being a home inspector and to make a good start of it?
So I'm part of a Facebook group, Home Inspectors Helping Home Inspectors, and a lot of them on there. There's a couple admins on there that will legitimately tell you how you can go about marketing and how you get new clients and everything. One of the biggest things is you have to take a day, take 2 days, take 3 days, take 2 weeks, and drive to realtor brokerages and drop off cards, talk to the person up front, talk to agents, go to insurance brokerages and talk to them, talk to the insurance agents, leave cards to, let them know what you do, what you're capable of and everything. Biggest thing is marketing. My biggest marketing thing is Facebook. Another thing is, like I got from that Facebook group, was I get tape measures, and I take the sticker off of them, and I put my own sticker on it. And the sticker says Mako Inspections, and everybody knows, hey, you got a tape measure. Here you go.
A useful piece of advertising that you'll keep. That makes sense. I don't have regular business cards. I have magnets. And if you've ever gone into a showing, you'll see people, the agents will leave their business card on the kitchen counter, like little soldiers all lined up nice and neat. I don't do that. I put a magnet on the fridge, and the cool thing about that is other agents don't notice it, so they don't throw it away when think they're being sly, or when the house sells, they don't throw it away. It stays on the fridge. The homeowner will use it to hold everything from doctor's appointments to vet vet visits and everything else. And I get phone calls 3 months after they moved in going, hey, my sister needs to buy a house and your card was in our house. So the magnets, the tape measures, all that stuff makes sense. That's good advice. All right. We've reached the point, and something about the podcast, and this is episode 1, so we couldn't do it this time, but going forward, our questions, our topics are going to come from you, the viewer. So make sure in our description on our channel on YouTube, make sure you can click on our email, shoot me an email, give us suggestions for topics, ask us any questions you want to ask about the previous podcast, and we'll do our best to answer. You can watch and see us the next week. I will answer it. But be sure to do that. I couldn't do that since this is episode 1, so I reached out within the social media community and I asked for people to give me 3 or 4 questions to ask our guest Jeff. And here's the first one. And those questions can be serious. They can be funny. Again, I'm in a lounger right now, drinking a Coke with my shirt with my vape pen here. So we're not really professional. So I'll answer any question and cut up with you just like the rest of them. But here's the first question. This comes from Casey. Casey's a broker. He would like for you to help explain how a home inspector determines roof life expectancy.
So when I go on a roof, I walk every roof, unless it's a 2-story roof or a metal roof or a tile roof. I will look up the permit date. So say the permit was July 1st of 2012. That tells me that that roof is 10 years old. So when I do the 4-point, I will say that the roof is 10 years old. The life expectancy is 15 more years. Because asphalt roofs in Florida are 25-year roofs.
So 25-year life expectancy.
That's what I get. That's how I determine the life expectancy. I don't go into, well, they use these tiles. No, it's 25-year roof. It's 10 years old. That means there's another 15 years of life left on that.
Can you see like abnormal wear or anything that would make you adjust that time?
You can. There can be spots where, there's holes. There's excessive wear from our missing granulars and stuff like that. But obviously, if you have that, there's other issues going on. There's animals on your roof or something. I mean, a 10-year-old roof shouldn't have granular loss, shouldn't have holes in it, shouldn't have cupping, which is normal for the end of life.
End of life
for a roof.
Cool. All right. Casey got a 2-question deal going on here.
2 for 1.
He wants to know, what's a double tapped breaker and is it expensive to fix?
Double tap breaker. So a double tap breaker is 2 wires going into one single pole breaker. Now, yes, there are breakers out there that are designed to take two wires into them. But as far as insurance companies concerned, they don't care. They don't care what kind of breaker it is. If it's got 2 wires going to a single pole, they want it one wire per one pole. To fix it, it all depends on if there's room in your panel for another breaker, then it's just as simple as putting in a new breaker and routing that wire down to the new breaker. If there's not, then it's going to come down to, do I need that? And if you need that, it might come up to be a sub panel. They might have to put a sub panel in or something. So as far as price, there's no legitimate, hey, this is how much it costs, because let's face it, electricians from, different, they vary. I mean, I use Pasco Electric for anything I do, and their price might vary from another, electric company. Their price might be better, it might be more expensive, but you're at the end of the day, you're paying for quality.
When I do a home tour with a potential buyer, my things that I look at, I look at the AC, I look at the data plate on it to see how old the air conditioner is. I look at the water heater, I look at the data plate to see how old the water heater is. And then my very next step is I go to the breaker box and I look and see if there's room to expand in that box. I can't take the panel off, I'm not the inspector, but I'm going to look. If there's 6 or 8 blanks in there, I know we've got room to expand. Why is that important? In case we have a double tap situation, I know that it's going to be a cheap, easy fix to add a breaker, or if I want to add, say, a tankless water heater down the road. And if you haven't installed one yet, you better make room. Better make sure you got room in your breaker box, because it takes some breakers to do it. I think a typical takes anywhere from an additional 3 to additional 5 breakers, just in case you were thinking about doing that. So check your panel. All right. Ariel, who's a realtor, wants to know, how do you tell a buyer's dad that he is not the home inspector and he needs to stay in his lane?
So, I actually will let the dad tell me what he sees, what he thinks, and everything like this, and let him inspect what he wants to inspect. Obviously, I'm inspecting and going to do my own thing. If he's if I come in and I want to go to the left and he's over there looking at things, I'm going to go to the right. I'm not going to tell him, hey, you need to bug off. This ain't your house. You're an inspector. You're just a handyman.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not going to be rude about it. I'm just going to go about doing my stuff, even if I have to. I have a certain way I inspect, a certain way I go, a route, that I do.
A rhythm.
So, even if I have to disrupt that to make sure that I'm not being disrespectful to him or disrespectful to myself by having to listen to him in every room. Oh, well, did you catch this? Did you catch this? Did you catch this? Well, yeah, but I'm not going to tell you about it because it's going on the report.
Yeah. All right. Final question. This one comes in with no name on it, so I don't know who gets credit for this. It's asking, are all home inspectors a little on the fluffy side and have beards? I'm not sure where that came
Only the
from.
better ones.
Okay, the better ones.
Only the better ones are.
All right, guess what? This concludes this episode of the Red Shed Ramblings. Be sure to stop before you log off. Hit the subscribe button and help us get. This is episode 1. We probably got 5 subscriptions right now. I want to see that thing to get to 1,000 real quick. I ask that you share our link. Friends, family, do whatever. Help us get to 1,000. Also, click on the email in our description, and you can ask any questions. You can comment. You can give us advice for who we need to have as guests. I want to thank Jeff for taking the time being with us today.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you guys all for your support and for your future support. And I'll see you next week on Red Shed Ramblings.
I saw your mama just the other day. She looked glad to see me.